Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And it looks like democracy is now cancelled in Britain. 21 local authorities are going to ask the government to cancel next May's elections. This is all due to them deciding that they want to become bigger authorities with maybe 500,000 people, which means less representation. Your vote counts less. It makes good news for the government, of course. It means more and more people coming under a smaller authority led. It's easier to control. You only have to convince or bribe or threaten fewer people in order to control a bigger amount of citizens. So for government, it's the centralisation of power. It's the removal of local democracy from our hands and handing it to this megalithic power structure at Westminster, sitting there very much removed from local concerns. And so decisions made by a faceless bureaucrat in a little bland office rather than someone on the ground locally. It's also the removal of the value of your vote. Instead of having a vote that's one in, say, 100,000, your vote will be one in 500,000. It's therefore a much weaker vote. Democracy being destroyed. And of course, the fact that they're not going to hold these elections at all is setting a terrible precedent. If they we're having a restructure, we're not going to have the election next year. Well, what if in 2029 the government decide they're going to have a restructure and they're not going to hold a general election? There's nothing stopping them, of course. They've now got this precedent. So again, it's something that needs to be resisted. We need to fight this and we need to say no. And how dare councils decide whether we want to be represented at a 100 person level or a 500,000 level? Let us decide what our future is. Local democracy should out-trump every other form of democracy. We the people and all that. But that's not what's going to happen. And so once they've got this, these huge super authorities led by a mayor, which means like one person in control with the absolute power, you're creating little fiefdoms, little dictatorships. One only has to see the abuse of power by the likes of Sadiq Khan in London, where one man controls nearly 10 million people's lives and can do so on a whim with no accountability. It doesn't go to committees. He can decide and that's it. You're creating emperors. And this is wrong. It's undemocratic. We need councils. We need committees. We need voices. And we need it at a local level. The government hate it, which is why they're doing it. But as I say, more importantly, they're setting the precedent to cancel elections. We are moving in to a post-democratic Britain where democracy will only be fondly remembered by the greybeards. Young kids today will just not even have a clue what democracy is. Britain in the 21st century, a fascist dictatorship led by a Marxist hawk, Womble. I was going to call him something else, but you know exactly what I mean. And what's to do? Well, we need to be on the streets, people. We need to be having our voice heard. Remember, with democracy, it's either the ballot or the bullet, and the ballot is better. But we shouldn't rule out civil violence. You know, to quote Robert Heinlein, violence has sorted out more problems than anything else in history. Thanks very much. Bye.